Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
Jeff didn't make it into
I
bed.
didn't make it in bed.
Huh.
I'm now scared. Yeah, we're filling up these chests fast. I have a lot of people in the comments are going, how on earth do you plan on accessing these pathways that you're digging away from?
Well, what do you mean?
Because we made these pathways, but then we're still digging straight
yeah,
down.
but the bottom area is just cosmetic. Anyways, once we dig it out.
Just the death pit.
Yeah, well, there'll be watered at the bottom.
Well, I mean, not in all spots, because what good pyramid doesn't have a death pit of some type?
Okay, all right. We'll put some spikes down there. Some bones.
I mean, input set.
I'm sure the plagues are on the way. They got lost. They're making their way here. So, y'all doing a Halloween party this year?
Probably not, because, I'm gonna.
All the kids?
No, because I'm gonna be gone for just before Halloween, and then I have to leave again right after Halloween.
Oh, you have to go. Oh, is your ski thing right after?
No, the ski thing's actually this weekend. I'm flying out on Saturday morning and flying back in on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, I guess, and then flying out on shortly after that to go see you right before Halloween, and then right after Halloween I fly out back to Michigan for my sister's wedding. So the next 3 weekends is I'm not in town.
Yeah, I knew that Halloween was the week after the marathon, and that's why I thought it was possible y'all were still going to do something, but I wasn't sure.
No, because it's right after that Halloween's the week after. It's just the weekend before Halloween is the marathon, and the weekend after Halloween is my sister's wedding. So there's no weekend availability.
She's probably getting married on my daughter's birthday then.
It's possible. Hi, dude, Enderman, stop! Enderman tried me. He was wanting to stare at me. He wants to stare at me. Hey, he just threw a potion at me. What the hell?
An Enderman?
Wait, hold on. All I saw was the Enderman, but a potion is. Oh no, the witch came out, which makes a lot more sense.
You are experiencing things.
Hey, people who saw my angle of it would if you watch my video, you're gonna also think the Enderman was the one who just threw that fucking potion at me. Wow.
People already don't think we know how to play this game, Jeff. Don't make it worse.
I mean, we don't. Is that a problem?
For them, it is.
I mean, if we were playing Alpha 1. I don't even remember what the Alpha numbers were. We'd know exactly how to play this game.
Yeah.
Hell,
still missed.
You'd even figure out how to make a bed before you read the cheats on how to do it once they added it in there.
Or I still remember when they would update the game and not tell you anything, and you were just figure it out.
Yeah, that's why when you used to do your Friday updates, and I remember one of the first Friday updates I watched was the one that I think it was maybe one of the first ones you talked about doing Friday, because they used to update the game every Friday, right?
Right.
And it was the one that they added the bed, and you're like, I'm just gonna go. I didn't look up any tutorials. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and guess that this is how you craft a bed. And you're like, there it is. Oh,
did I get it?
Yeah. Yeah, the bed you did for sure. I don't remember. I don't remember if you kept up with that series for very long, or
I do. I definitely do. I remember honestly the episode I remember is looking for lapis, and pissing off so many people by calling it lupus.
I mean that just became a staple, sure.
Well, yeah, but boy, anybody that had a family member that had lupus did not appreciate.
I mean,
that's why I stopped doing it.
Anybody that had a family member that didn't have legs did not appreciate you calling people male with no legs.
Well, they did. They would write him fan letters talking about how they didn't have legs too. That's what pissed him off.
They didn't have legs too.
I'm not even joking. He would get these sympathy letters he showed them to me where it was I understand what you're going through. I also lost my legs, and it's just great that you support this community, and just that I don't know what all they said, but I understood his anger after reading some of those where I was because I didn't believe it.
But how many of those people actually had legs and were just doing
Well, that's what I kept telling him too. I'm you know what? I don't know how true this is, man. I'm I'm not convinced this is real.
I mean, I'm sure that there was some real ones in there. There's no question about that. But I guarantee a lot of them were also people either trying to get in his good graces or that were just kind of perpetrating the joke.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I did tell him. I was some people have to be in on this, right? But no. As far as he was concerned, no one was in on it.
That's funny. Oh, legs. So overrated when you have them. I mean, do you think you could live like a good life without your legs, just from your perspective now?
I mean, I think I could. Would I want to? No. And I do. Do I think I would immediately like rebound and be okay? Absolutely not. I think I'd go through like a long period of depression where I didn't want to live, basically, because I couldn't walk and do all the things. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think at first you'd have a hard time getting your mindset in the right place to carry on with your life normally after losing your mobility.
So I think that it would be very hard. And honestly, the funny thing is the worst thing that not the worst thing, it's not the worst thing, but the main thing that I think about is I think I could get by and I would learn to adapt and stuff that, like you said, I think I would become so fat.
No, that probably too.
And
maybe you'd get skinnier though. I mean, there's a lot of upper body workout.
So
wheeling yourself around.
Yeah, I guess maybe, but it's just funny because you see all these people, like anybody I've ever seen that doesn't have legs or has amputated legs or whatever, for non-reasons, like because diabetics are a whole different story. Like people who are diabetic who have like lost their limb or something like that, usually they are fat in general, but that's part of the disease process, is like, or
right.
What's perpetrated the disease process. People like from traumas or whatever who have lost a limb, any of them that I have ever met through like the work as a nurse and this and that, they've always been super skinny. And I'm just like, I feel like I walk around all the time and all I do is gain weight still. What if I was confined to this chair? You can't tell me I wouldn't just be gaining weight left and right.
I still think you actually gain less weight that way.
God, you think I'd stop drinking? I drink 10 times more. I didn't have anything else to do.
No, I do. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. My initial struggle would just be the will to live, the will to get out of bed in the morning, sort of thing.
I guess I was on crutches for many weeks of my senior year in high school. Actually, my graduation picture is me on crutches, like, crutch under arm, like shaking and grabbing diploma and things like that. Because I had a knee surgery at the end of my senior year. And I do remember just being on crutches. I had like giant triceps and much bigger biceps, because that's the triceps are the main muscle you use when you're on crutches.
Right.
So my arms like looked fucking beastly. Like I just was like, damn, like this dude works out type of deal. But all I did was crutch around all the time. So I guess maybe it would be like losing legs would make you end up losing. So I guess in theory, yes, you definitely lose weight. I just don't know if I'd lose.
Yeah, you definitely lose weight.
How much do you think a leg weighs? About 15 pounds. Lose about 30 pounds if I lost both legs.
Yeah, probably more than that, man.
God, how much worse would it be if you? I don't know. Would it be worse to be amputated or worse to be just limp legs that didn't do anything?
I would rather, I don't know. Because, you got if they're limp, do you still have feeling in them? Because I would never.
No, I'm saying like no feeling limp legs that.
Yeah, see, that would always scare me, because if you get cut, you don't realize it. That's my biggest fear with one of those type of things, is bleeding to death, basically. Because I've heard that happens to people with extremities they no longer have feeling in. I'm sure you've heard this type of thing in the hospital.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just scary.
I think it'd just be so much harder to deal with legs that didn't do anything as opposed to just like stumps as well.
Well, yeah, that too. You gotta you're flinging them around to get in the bed and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess with stumps you could just probably be like, what's that dude who killed his girlfriend? The the super runner dude.
I don't know anything about this.
Oh God, what's his name? Hold on. I'm looking it up. Or amputated leg, amputated runner. Blade Runner. Goes by
Blade Runner.
But what's his like? Oscar Pistorius. That's it.
Huh. I've never heard that word.
Never heard of that guy? He was like Special Olympics like king who has these two like blade. He's got these weird like blade leg like things that he can put on, and he runs so fast. But after he won like the Special Olympics, he like killed his girlfriend in the bathroom, and now he's in jail for murder.
That sucks. Why'd he kill
her? Anger. She had legs.
She had legs. Oh my god.
He wanted her legs.
Did he take her leg?
I don't know. Maybe that was his plan, but he got caught. Not 100% certain. I didn't ask the guy. I should have.
God, the other day, whenever my daughter, they thought she had appendicitis, I went to the ER.
They thought she had no legs.
Yeah, they thought she had no legs, and so I got there, and they didn't. She did.
And so I went to a different doctor.
Yep. This man's a quack. But it was funny to me because I get there, and I knew what room she was in. She was still down in the ER, and so I tell the nurse lady up front that she's in like exam room 3. Why's it gotta be a
nurse lady?
Well, it just was. I'm sorry, Jeff. They didn't have the nurse man to that day.
If you ever come to my work, I demand you call me nurse man.
The nurse man, yeah. I mean, if it had been a nurse man, I would have said that. But in this case, it was the nurse lady. And anyways, so she gives me a pass and just lets me go. And she, so there, I guess there was triage rooms, and then there were exam rooms. But the first room I came to was triage room 3, and so
you bust down into triage room 3.
I did. I walked right up in there and sat down and started watching Wall-E because it was on the TV. And so I sat there for 20 minutes watching Wall-E, and nobody came in or anything. And I knew that she was off getting a CT scan, and so I was like, well, I guess they're off getting the CT scan. Oh, I got sneeze. And after 20 minutes of watching Wall-E, I get a text and like, I thought you said you were here. And I'm like, I am here. I'm in room 3. And they're like, but we're in room 3. So I just felt weird about the whole thing because I just got set free in this fucking hospital and nobody checked on anything. And I just wandered off into a triage room and sat around for 20 minutes watching Wall-E.
That shit happens all the time in the hospitals. And I bet you, and depending on how they run their triage, like the way that triage runs at my hospital, it's kind of like you cycle through, like a nurse doesn't have a room that they're triaging in and they just go get patients and keep bringing them back there. It's you triage a patient in a room, and then you leave that patient there because a doctor will come in and see them in that room too. And you'll take the next patient into the next open triage room. Mm-hmm. They might not have actually ended up triaging patients into that room because they thought you were like the patient that was still waiting to see the doctor. They might have just been like, oh, somebody's still in here. Let's move on to the next room. And
people walked by, looked at everything, and I was just like, I'm watching Wall-E.
You're like, I like Wall-E.
Yeah, I'm here to see Wall-E.
Yeah, but we'll if you don't have really astute people working, and it's dangerous in today's day and age too, because there's a lot more threats and stuff on people at hospitals and things like that. So workplace violence is a big problem and big concern. But yeah, we let people into the hospital without any direction, and it's like, yep, go for it. Like, oh, you're here to see John Smith. Okay, go on in. Like, right. Have at it.
I was surprised when I've gone to see my mom in the hospital recently. Like, normally, every time I go to my grandma's hospital like that, I'm just like, I just walk in like I own the place. Nobody ever stops you or anything. No one says anything. You can go through the whole fucking hospital. Even past doors, they're like, no access or whatever. You just walk right in there like you own the place, and it seems like no one ever stops you.
I think that's the case with hospitals being like places where the public is at all the time anyway. I think it's way easier there, but I think you can get away with that attitude at like some of the most secured office buildings in the world. You get into a door and just walk around and act like you're supposed to be there. I don't think many people are going to question you.
It's just crazy to me because it's like, that's how the airport used to be, and then 9/11 happened. We had to shut down the airport because airports used to be like malls. You remember that?
Yeah. I used to be able to go and watch, like, send people off to their flights, like wait for them while before the like final
We'd go
boarding
hang
call
out and go shopping. Yeah, we were like, what do you want to do today? I don't know. Let's go to the airport and go shopping.
I've never just gone to the airport to go shopping. That seems to be the most idiotic thing I've ever heard anybody want to do.
Well,
like, do you want to spend 3 times the money for no reason? Let's go to the airport, everybody.
Well, I think it was more because I don't think we ever actually bought anything there. I think we just go and look around. But it was more I was a little kid and I wanted to watch the airplanes take off.
Ah, gotcha.
So I think that was really what we were doing. But we just treated the airport like a mall, basically. Like you can just go there anytime you want, walk on in, do what you want.
I will say though. Oh, go ahead. You're finishing.
I was just gonna say back to what I was saying. It was when I got to my mom's hospital, I actually had a little badge thing that I had to like get printed out with my name and picture on it, and I had to show it every time I came in there. Though every time I went to see her, and I've never experienced that before.
Yeah, we have that at my hospital now, but that's actually relatively new, and I mean new in the last like 2 or 3 months. Because, like I said, the workplace violence and the threats at hospitals has become like a real like eye-opening major thing that everybody's changing their practices. It's very strange. Like it should have been changed a long time ago. It just wasn't.
Right.
But the whole see something, say something thing is always like, it's such a weird concept in general because it sounds so easy to say, right? I'm driving to work this morning, and I looked over my shoulder when I was stopped at a red light, and I literally saw a guy biking on the sidewalk, carrying another bike.
His new stolen bike. Yeah.
Well, except for he also, in that same hand, the bike was like over on his shoulder. He also had a cup of coffee that he was holding up, and I was like, he clearly stole that bike, but he's drinking that coffee. And this is like really impressive. And I don't know, did he really steal this bike? And what kind of asshole am I? Because of course he was, not my skin color. So if I were to yell out my window, hey, did you steal that bike? Is that now a racial thing? Because he was black. Am I assuming that he stole that bike because he's black? Is that what it's going to like look like? But,
are you?
But no, it's a dude biking on the sidewalk with another bike in his hand. My first thought process is that bike is stolen. I don't give a shit what color you are.
Right.
But can you what is the see something, say something? Should I have stopped and said something?
I don't think so.
He also looked very professional. He was dressed up. Like it wasn't your typical type of person that you would think was out stealing a bike. Like it almost looked like he was delivering the bike to a friend.
Maybe he was.
Yeah, it's possible.
To me, the whole see something, say something thing is like, if there is a threat that's imminent to mass human life, say something. But if you see a guy stealing a bike, move on with your life.
But at the same time, like I think it's supposed to extend to, and I understand where you're coming from, where you say it extends to the mass human threat, because I think that's where it started. But you don't think it's progressed to the point where people use that phrase with anything? Like if you see something that doesn't look appropriate, you're supposed to say something. Is I think how it seems to me to be basically coined now.
I see. I guess I've never interpreted that way. I know that I think you brought this up before whenever there was something going on in the parking lot at your hospital or something.
Yeah, and I did go say something, and that guy just got fucking angry with me because he thought it was a racial thing.
Right.
Yeah, you're walking around and say, I didn't just stop you because you were black. I stopped you because you've been pacing back and forth in a parking lot for 10 minutes with no clear way to go and no identification on who the fuck you are. But that wasn't a good enough explanation for him, It was just, I'm just a racist asshole.
Well, I've seen that YouTube video.
Shit, so is Google. Search my name. I'm a racist asshole. God, it's going to be really interesting when I'm going to go for another job in the future. And they're going to be like, I can't hire this guy because he's racist. According to Google.
We've seen that video.
It's...
I'm a volunteer at our school, you know that, and every year we have to do volunteer training, which is really a big waste of my time. I can understand the point of going to it once, but they force you to do it every year, so whatever.
Because you might have forgotten over the summer.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, and it's all stupid shit too. Like, well, if you see little Billy and you see that little Billy's obviously poor, don't go home and talk about it on Facebook and shit like that. So it's like, you're really wasting several hours of my day here. Anyways, one of the things they always talk about in this thing is, the process for checking into the school, and there'll be an automated computer where you scan your license and it's going to print out this thing that's got your face on it. And my daughter's school's never had that. And they finally got it this year. And so I knew what to expect because I've heard.
Because you've done a training for 5 years in a row.
Yeah, right. but it's so crazy to watch parents freaking out about it, like on like the book fair days and stuff, and like they would just be genuinely upset that they were required to do this, to have a pass to be in the school. I mean, in the past they still did a pass, but there was a woman that sat there and did the pass.
But
So it's even stranger to me is like it's not even a new concept. It's just now it's automated.
And I don't. Why are people upset? Because I hope to God they have that type of technology when my kids start school.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody to be able to randomly go in there and pretend like, let's pretend my my YouTube channel for some reason between now and then blows up and I'm like the PewDiePie of the future. I don't want you to be like a random fan who's like, I'm going to go fucking steal your kid from your school because, you know, I figured that shit out. No, like make sure you know it's me or like somebody authorized.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like the more security at a school, the better, really.
It's just crazy, especially like, God, heaven forbid, like, you know, divorces, something like that, you know, the stepdads or, you know, whatnot coming through and trying to, like, there's so many variables that the average person should be so okay with the protection of children.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we just let our kids go to the, I mean, I don't know. Like I was thinking, I was having a parent teacher conference the other day, and it kept dawning on me how much older I am than her teacher. And like, I don't know. I always get anxious at parent teacher conferences, like I'm at the principal's office, and I kept trying to like reassure myself, like, you've been around like 10 years longer than this one. You're fine.
But they've been trained. They're in a position of authority.
They have, sure. But it was kind of funny, like, you know, she's got new glasses, and she was I guess like her eyes were straining because they were brand new. Like she had them a week at this point. And the teacher messaged me and she's like, I don't know anything about glasses. Like, should she just take them off for a few hours? Like, what do you do if someone is wearing glasses?
She must be a brand new teacher, huh?
No, that's the thing too. This is like her 5th or 6th year.
She's never had a student that wore glasses?
That apparently not brand new glasses that bothered them or something. Because yeah, I was like, well, you know, I mean, I don't think you're supposed to. I was, you know, basically I told her, I was like, I don't think you're supposed to take them off. It's been a long time since I first started wearing glasses, but I think this just your eyes are getting used to them. I was like, but I'll double check with her doctor, and you know, the doctor basically said the same thing. Like, no, you know, she needs to wear them. She's got a lazy eye, and so it's like, you know, it's strengthening her lazy eye, and that maybe her muscles may be getting tired, and that's what she's feeling. But you know, no, don't stop wearing them. That just defeats the purpose. So, but yeah, I didn't think the answer was to stop wearing them, but I just double checked with the doctor just to make sure. But I mean, they did kind of throw me off a little bit when the teacher was like, what do? You know?
Because you just assume the teacher's like, the teacher should know, right?
Well, yeah, either no or at least not. I don't know. To me, the assumption that just take off the glasses seemed like kind of crazy to me a little bit. But you know,
I do think when I first got glasses, when I was in the 4th grade when I first got my glasses. And I do think they said to, like, if you started straining, like, take them off for a while and let your eyes rest. I don't know, but if that was based on anything or if that's just what they told people.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I could see that being a possibility. And I think maybe with her, it's because of the lazy eye that they're trying to force her to constantly wear them. I don't know. I've never had a lazy eye.
My eyes never been lazy. They've always been working real hard, real hard.
Working real hard.
I always got super like Superman on their evaluation forms, you know, like, above and beyond.
God. So, what's it like in DC right now? You got like an impeachment hour at the bars, or?
No, because it. Oh my God, it's so difficult because I mean DC's like full of Democrats, so. Everybody's got the same mindset of, you know, you talk to anybody at the bar and everybody's, you know, pretty much against Trump and wants him to be impeached. But, I mean, look at the shit that happened today with, like, the G7 summit next year has been, like, given to Mar-a-Lago Resort in Miami.
Well, no, not Mar-a-Lago.
But you're right, not Mar-a-Lago. One of Trump's resorts. In Miami. Or something like that. And it's so funny just even reading Reddit on it, which is the same concept you get from anybody. It's like, oh no, this is a good thing. Why don't people see this? Because he's giving it to them at cost, therefore it's cheaper. And I will tell you, I would buy that. If you own something and therefore it could be quote unquote free and you could just make it like, we do everything at cost, we don't profit from this thing. We deal with charity events all the time and deal with things like that. That happens. It just doesn't happen with Trump.
Yeah, no.
Like, and that's the thing, is how you can't be like serious that at this point you're really going to argue that and think that anybody can buy into that, because he's already lost so much credibility with people. But he's just, his base is too strong, and I don't get it. I think he's losing his base by far, and I do think that impeachment is becoming much more likely, but I don't think anybody in DC is celebrating yet, because they know that his base is still so strong that it's not even close to a sure thing. It's like the fucking, like, it's like any game against the Packers if the refs are there. I'm still bitter about the Monday Night Football game, so.
Oh, really? I don't know anything about that.
Oh, you should look at some articles, because you will see, like, all the articles are all just about the refs basically destroying the NFL.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there, like, bias towards certain teams and stuff?
By that game, you would definitely think so. It was very, like, and just to get into football for a second, because of course some of my fans are going to be wondering why I haven't talked about this yet, I'm sure, because they know how big of a fan I am. But just to say it real quick, there was plenty of things that the Lions should have done better to win that game. There's no question. They messed up some things for themselves. Yes, absolutely. But literally the game there was 3 different plays with the worst possible calls that the refs could have made that all benefited the other team. And half of the flags were thrown after the play was over. Like, after it's like, oh, you stopped them? Flag. Like, throw it out there. It was like, if you look at any news articles this week, before the next set of games, or like tonight, there's a game tonight, but before the next set of games, there are so many articles just on how the refs are destroying the NFL right now because of games like this, and how blatantly just poorly called the game was, that it literally gave the game away to a different team.
Wow.
One of the worst games I've ever seen from the officiating standpoint. And I was under the idea, like, this year going forward so far, I thought the refs had been doing such a good job this year in comparison to previously, and that game just changed it all. It's all over.
Huh. What do you think needs to happen? Some kind of reform?
Basically some type of reform, but what the problem that you have is these refs have final say in penalties, and even when they're looked at afterwards, ones that you can't overturn, or even ones that they've done things, or in that this didn't happen in this game, but they've thrown flags on plays before and then just gone and picked up the flag, and then you watch it back again and you're like, that flag was thrown legitimately and you just picked it up and said, like, it's no foul. Randomly you decided to change it to no foul even though it clearly was. The refs need some type of mechanism that gets back to them. Players get fined for doing stuff wrong. Find the refs for doing things wrong. It's something, I don't know how much they make to know if that's even, like, feasible, but there needs to be some accountability to make them, because that game, it was one of those games where you cannot walk away from that game after watching it to not think that the refs were favoring Green Bay Packers just because of the way that things were called.
I mean, does a ref make a decision and his decision is the decision, or is it like a group of refs?
I think there's like a head ref. I don't know all the way that it works. There's definitely been calls where there's so some of them, I think the two biggest blundered calls, I think, were a single ref decision, because that ref is the one who threw the flag, said I saw this, and it was head enough ref, and the same ref did it twice. And it was Trey Flowers' hands to the face. And the replays clearly showed there was no contact with hands to the face. And this man got called for it twice. And these 2 plays changed the outcome of the game.
Don't the NFL players get fined for that kind of thing too? The hands to the face?
If you do, I don't think you get fined for everything. If there's certain, like, things that are super flagrant, like, you can have, like, these there's been a couple nasty helmet-to-helmet collisions with players, which are completely outlawed in the NFL. But if they happen, and it's like they happen by circumstance, you can still get the penalty for it, but not get a fine for it. But if they determine that you were, like, targeting and, like, that was your intent, then you will get fined. It's like,
I don't know how you avoid helmet to helmet
well, and
collision.
that's in there. And there was one major play in this game as well that, like, it was the announcers were the funniest things I've ever seen, because the announcers were getting so angry with the calls. One announcer was flipping out, and he literally asked the rules analyst when one guy got a helmet to helmet, and he goes, "How on earth is this defenseman supposed to avoid this? The defenseman's going for the ball just the same, and their helmets happen to collide." And the rules analyst goes, "Honestly, like, you do that exact same play again next time, because there is nothing you can do about that. Like, you hope it's called differently." was the response, because there's certain situations where it can't be avoided, and in theory it shouldn't be penalized either in those cases, but it is in a lot of cases. But I don't think you'll be, once they watch the replays in New York after the game, you won't be fined for that. But if they determine that you went for that flagrantly, that's when fines start getting levied.
I see.
So I think fines are all determined after the fact, after an investigation.
Right. And that's not based on the referee at all.
I can't say not at all, but I don't know how that works. But
I mean, he's not the one
that's
making the
more,
decision.
that's a bigger group of people that determine stuff like that.
Okay.
So, but either way, I don't know. We got into that, but I said my piece.
He's real mad, Joe.
Lions were robbed. There's no question about it. Lions were robbed.
I mean, they don't normally win games anyways, right?
Yeah, but they were actually doing decent this year, and this was a division rival, and
no.
And so, like I said, I'm not saying that they made plenty of mistakes themselves. They also gave the game away. They should have had a way higher lead at the beginning. 5 field goals when you were in the red zone so many times and you couldn't convert touchdowns. Like, that's a problem too. But the game got stolen from them at the end because of the refs.
That sucks.
So,
hey, it's dark again.
Yeah, I slept in bed. I'll sleep in bed again.
Okay. All right. Well, we're out of time anyway, so thanks for watching, everyone.
See ya.